Barney. Come on. Here we go, yo. Barney. Come on. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. And when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation. Barney's friends are big and small, they come from lots of places. After school they meet to play and sing with happy faces. Barney comes to play with you whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him. Barney.
The Worst Barney Episode is a show created by passionate Barney fans for Barney fans. Our love and respect for the Barney franchise and the talented individuals who brought this groundbreaking show to life run deep. However, like all long-running series, we recognize that not every episode resonated equally with every viewer. This series is not intended as a critique or disparagement of Barney, the creators, or the team behind the show. Instead, it's an opportunity for us to engage in lighthearted discussions and reflect on the episodes we may not have enjoyed as much as others. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved in the creation of Barney, and we invite all of you to join us in this playful and nostalgic journey while keeping it fun and respectful. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Purple Roads. As always, I'm just kidding. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Worst Barney Episode, Part 11, Season 10. We're finally in the downward spiral of what is Barney and Friends. I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you're all ready to watch us destroy the demise. Let's see who's all in here. The start of the Kerron, Barnes, and Riff era, says S82. Yes, we are. Kerron Barnes was the worst thing to happen to Barney and Friends. Riff was the best thing to happen to Barney and Friends at this specific time. Let's see. The downfall, says Drew's Media Corner. Yes, it is. Big Purple 88 says, new background. I'm in a new office space, so I left my other office. It's just a little bit smaller here, but I'm coming to you officially from the White Void. Yes, I am. Let's see here. The worst episode of Season 10 was the one where Riff said it's riffing time and riffed all over the other dinos. I missed that one in the rewatch. Let's see here. Yo, rare and cool Barney tools in the back. Yeah, that's only some of them. In the other office I had, my collection was on the other side of, like, behind basically where the camera was, so you guys couldn't see them. But this is only a small part. The space is not big enough for all of it, so those are just a few that I'm able to put up right now. Hi, Kerron. First time joining, but know all of you. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. I want to watch Mike Tyson knock someone out tonight, so I want to get through this as efficiently and quick as possible. So I'm going to bring in our other co-hosts that we normally see. First up, we have Kalen, Terrific Tributes. What's up, man? What's happening? How are you feeling?
Why is Cedric the Entertainer commentating this event?
Is he really?
Yeah, did they just want a mid-name, like a B-list actor?
A bunch of like jokes that would have landed in 80, but not anymore. I don't know. Kalen will be our eyes and ears on the fight throughout this stream. We'll come in. We'll tune into him every now and then so he can give us the update. Thank you, Kayla, for being here. All right, and then we also have, of course, Emmy. Welcome, Emmy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know what else to say. Except I'm good.
I'm jealous because, like we were talking before we started this,
Yeah.
being that you're in Australia, it's springtime going into summertime for you, and here where we are, it's turning into wintertime. So I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah.
I wish I could live here for the summer and then fly there for the summer again.
For the summer,
just never visit winter ever again, or the episode of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, because it's daylight savings and it's really kind of messing me up internally because the clocks keep changing. So just like, I have to do all of it.
We talked about it earlier. They should really get rid of that.
They need to.
They really should.
Like all nations.
Yes.
Big Purple 88 says, "Hi Riff, congrats on your season debut." It's for you, Kaylin.
That was nice.
Mike says, "Man, I can't wait for you to walk off screen and wind up in the park." What are we doing today? All right, and then also, hey, it's Riff in the middle. Okay. Moving on, we also have.
I'm not paying attention to you guys.
A wonderful Hedge. What's up, Hedge? Welcome.
Everything's better with a friend.
Dude, his entire head is in widescreen.
Bro, this scene.
Like, I never realized it was that wide, but Jesus Christ.
Bro's head is huge, dude.
Love this
He's not baby, so you can't see. Baby Bop is like over here, and he's not even looking at her, but he's talking to her. And that's a problem I have with this season, but we'll get into that.
The hit seasons are obsessed with making Barney's head wide, like at the cheeks.
Yeah.
And this is something
He looks like a frog.
nice, just like it's wide.
I don't dislike any of the costumes that came after the season 9 one. The season 9 one is the one I dislike the most. The rest of them aren't as bad. I don't think. But his face, and technically his face was always wide until season 7 and 8, and then they narrowed it for some reason, and then they widened it back out.
I'm gonna find a photo of one of these later costumes, and I'll share it with you, and I'll ask your opinion.
Like later from the season, like from the series itself, though, or like one of the ones they would use in some stupid mall show.
I gotta find my least favorite one, but I'd have to find a photo of it.
All right, go ahead. And then today we have a special guest joining us. Our guest for season 10, here to help me defend Riff's honor, is Malachi Finch. What's up, Malachi?
Did you ever notice?
I'm a little too big.
That's how he sings it.
Oh, I hate it.
So boring.
What's good, guys? What's good?
How you doing, Malachi?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
Man, it's good to have you on this side of it. Like, we've had you in the comments for many, many streams, so it's good to have you officially on the stream itself.
It's good to be here. I procrastinated because you asked me last week and I didn't know my work schedule, and I spent the last 3 days up till 2, 3 in the morning watching season 10. And
I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna say it right now. I got to episode 6 and I just gave up because I remember all of them, so I didn't need to watch it again. But like,
I did too, but I had to remember which ones, because I was just like, I feel like I'm just gonna pick anything. But then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So I mean,
well, the good thing about this season is whatever choice gets chosen is the absolute right choice. Like, they all are bad in their own right at this point, that it doesn't really matter which one gets voted. Like, it deserves to be there. Before we get into that, let's pivot first. We usually cover a little bit of news and things. As most people know, CPTV released their first 2 episodes of the Generation Barney podcast on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, November 12th. What are your guys' thoughts on that podcast? Have you listened to it in its entirety yet? The 2 episodes. What are your thoughts? Anyone?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty informative. They talked about a bunch of stuff that we knew already pretty much, but it's just always nice to hear the the positives that came out of the beautiful thing that was created that we all love. It's always nice to hear the things that are being said and everything that's going on with him and what happened. And it's just nice to know that some people still care for CPTV to bring this thing to life. It's nice to see that some people still care. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about this podcast, among anything else, is the fact that the people who are an integral piece to bringing it to the world are the ones behind this podcast, which means they have more of a significant care about the show than anyone else who's tried to do a documentary about it that weren't the people who worked on it, if that makes sense, right? Like, to me, that's one of the number one best things about this is that they're involved.
I'm glad someone finally did something like this, and they really are the best people to do it. The creators declining to be interviewed for this was a little strange. I don't know what the reasoning was for that, if there was any. Regardless, I think Connecticut Public was the best person to have helmed something like this, because they have all of this. They have all the footage. They have all the information. Like, I think it was really. I loved the first 2 episodes. We don't know the rest of the episode titles, do we?
We do.
We do. Okay.
It was on the site. That when they first talked about it, if you go down, it's like it tells all the titles of them.
The titles, and it gives a synopsis of what they're talking about in that episode too. So like, see, episode 3 was supposed to come out this week too, and it didn't. So I'm assuming they're delaying it to next week. But that's the one where they talk about the hate around the character and that kind of thing. It's only 1 episode about that, which I'm fine with. I don't think it's going to be as terrible coverage of it like it was with the "I Love You, You Hate Me" documentary. So I'm interested to see how they handle that specific topic. But since I'm one of the guests that's a part of it. Like, the one thing that I loved about being interviewed for it was the fact that the host interviewing, like she said in those episodes, is a legit Barney fan who grew up with the show. So she was asking questions that only Barney fans or people who actually watch the show would know or care to ask, right? Versus people who you can clearly tell they have no idea about the show, or didn't grow with it, or didn't watch it, and now they're trying to come up with questions. So that was also refreshing to be like, I'm just talking like I'm talking to you guys, just talking to someone else who has a commonality, and also so they have a more of a want to do justice for the show by way of this podcast, which just adds to how great it has been so far for me.
So no Nancy J's.
No.
Get rid of the Nancy J's of the world.
Definitely not. Kaylin, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, I was watching the opening fight. Yeah, I think the host, like you said, she is a. You could tell that she does care about this franchise, and just the stories that we're hearing in general is pretty neat, I must say. One thing I kind of want to briefly touch base on, and it's getting a lot of traction in the trades and news cycles in general. David Joyner told this story about how members of and I don't know if YouTube's going to silence us for this, but I won't say the triple Ks.
KKK, Ku Klux Klan, white supremacists.
Well,
that's who they are.
You have it. Yeah,
demonetized, age restricted, terminated.
Never mind.
Anyway,
Go
now that you said it, how like one of the members found out that the person inside the costume was black, so they forbid their kids from watching the show. It wasn't really common knowledge. Obviously, people are just now finding it out. I've known about that since like 2011, when like the people started revealing themselves. And he actually posted the other day a story from, I think it was like Time magazine or like People magazine, from like 1994, where he gave an interview and said the same exact thing.
Esquire.
Yeah, Esquire. It just goes to show you like the bigotry even back then. And, you know, it was going on towards then, previously, but seeing even like the hate towards somebody playing a character that's teaching your children essentially through play and stuff, it's just very, very, like I said, disheartening. And I'm surprised they allowed it in the podcast, honestly. But I guess it's a story that needed to be told. But other than that, I like the first 2 episodes. I wish they would have dropped them like all at once. But I can understand why they would want to do it like an actual series. But other than that, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Emmy, did you share your thoughts already about it?
No, because I was switching from my big computer to my little computer because I felt like it would cope with the internet more. But anyway, so I listened to the first 2 episodes twice. And in all honesty, this has been touched on before, and Hedge just released a video about it, a few hours ago, which I watched before I jumped on. And I don't want to feel like I'm crossing streams with Hedge, if that makes sense. But Hedge did, raise a lot of points about it being, this is really what we should have gotten in place of "I love you, you hate me." Because when that video came out, when "I love you, you hate me" came out, I found it was very, particularly in the second episode, they were talking to all these random people that had no stake in the, in Barney at all, and they were just offering random opinions on why would someone hate Barney specifically. But I feel like that's not, I feel like, Barney kind of needed its own documentary about the production side, because Sesame Street has had a lot. Like Sesame Street has had so many. Mr. Rogers has one. There are all these, documentaries that examine the phenomenon of the show with a respectful lens, and they don't focus on the backlash or stuff like that. They treat it with respect. And I feel like this podcast, I don't know if it's Sabrina Herrera herself who's formulating the questions, but wow, I've never heard. I've heard some of these stories before, but not in this much detail. Not in this much detail. And if that's her formulating the questions, then that, what, I'd give her a raise.
Yeah. There's a team behind it. So there was 4 people on my interview. So I would assume that they all work together for whatever the interview questions ended up being, and then she's the host of it all. But no, you're right. Like I said, the questions they were asking me, I was pleased by them because you could tell they cared about the show. And clearly, by listening to the interviews of Steve White, Bob, and David, and Daniel Vega, you can tell that they also had thoughtful questions that were asked to them as well. That's part of an interview, right? Is asking the right questions or forming the right questions for someone to be able to answer. So yeah, I just so far, and I don't expect it to drop off, not only because I'll be showing up in a later episode or anything, but I think it's gonna, as a whole, it's gonna be a great podcast series.
Yeah.
For people like us who know about the show and know some of these stories, but still love to hear them, and people who might not have paid much attention before, and now they're finding out the information. It's a great way to be provided. So, but yeah, I would like to move on if we can, and let's just jump right into this whole thing. There's a couple comments I'm going to highlight first.
Wait.
And then Kaylin wants to go on about Barney's World that no one's going to care about, but we'll talk about it. And then we'll move on to what people also don't care much about, which is season 10. Jen says, I really like that the first episode stressed how specifically Barney was created for 2 and 3-year-olds. The children's television professor was a tremendous asset for getting that across. Absolutely.
I agree.
For sure. No one else is really saying anything about it. There's a few comments that people were saying it's delightful and they enjoy it and all those kind of things, which is great. Kaylin, jump into your world.
My birthday was for you. It's for your wish to come true. I'm kidding. I'm getting sick of them doing that. So for those who are unaware, one of the songs from this era that we're about to talk about specifically will be appearing in the new show. They compiled some old music videos with this new one, which pretty much all but confirms that there is going to be a birthday episode in Barney's world. They're so obviously stalling for time because their next batch of episodes are clearly not finished, which is very frustrating considering that this fight is boring, by the way, considering that they have basically flat out said, hey, new episodes every Monday. Yeah, it's I like that they brought back a more unique song, because how many times have we sung Happy Birthday per year? Or like the Stevie Wonder song. You know what I mean? I like the
I would never watch Barney again if they sang the Stevie Wonder version of Happy Birthday. That would be my first and last time.
That's the best one
ever hearing it. It's funny to me. Ironically, that song premiered this season 10, but it's funny to me that they're using riff era songs with no riff. I said that in the beginning, if they do that, it would be the funniest thing to me. And now the fact that they are is hilarious.
Speaking of Stevie Wonder, did you see that comment Carmelo Anthony said the other day?
No, and neither did he.
He said, yeah, this is back when I was playing. I went back, I went up to shake my hand and say, hey, this is Carmelo Anthony. He was like, oh, I love watching you play.
Stevie Wonder, they're always saying that he can see, because he'll just be crossing the street, or he'll greet people without anyone saying that they're who they are and things. It's funny to me. The stories are hilarious that celebrities tell.
I feel like he has daredevil powers.
I mean, all of this, obviously, when you have one less sense, the rest of your senses are heightened. So I think that also goes into play with how he can move around the world and pick up on things.
I think he has sonar detection.
Yeah. All right. Are you done with Barney's World?
Never.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It's that part.
Here we are.
I do like the new short that released today.
What new short?
The Big Sad.
It's not new though. It was part of that compilation last week.
To some people it might be new because they didn't see the compilation.
Yeah, I mean, who would watch it? You're right.
Yeah. I hate that he does that that pose.
The Super Mario jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today could be anything you choose. He says that the exact same way all the time too, which bothers me so much.
He does.
All right, so here we are, season 10. Season 10 is where the downward trend for Barney really takes off. Season 9 was okay. It was still the formula of what Barney and Friends was, right? Granted, the White Void and all those other weird things, it was still Barney and Friends to the core. Season 10 is where they just said, screw all of that and let's do something completely different. Obviously, Karen Barnes came in as producer. I've said it before, and I'll repeat it every single time, that she is the absolute worst thing to happen to this series ever. I don't know why they entrusted in her an opportunity to work on a children's show when she'd not done it before, let alone Barney. That was an established show. To come in and act like it's a brand new show that needs all these new ideas. She was a terrible person for this show. And that is clear because 4 seasons later, she destroyed the entire thing, and the franchise just ended with no notice at all. So Kerron Barnes is terrible. She had terrible ideas, and that is who I blame for this season, right? So season 10, we got Riff, obviously. Riff, to me, is the best thing that happened to Barney and Friends at this point in time, right? While the episodes went downhill, the topic points, the focus of who they were targeting, and all of that went downhill. Riff just added as another character on screen, just like adding a new kid. He didn't make the show suck, right? What made it suck was the direction of the people producing the show. People are gonna hate Riff just like they hate Carrie and Dean because they're so stuck up the '90s version of Barney's, that they act as if anything new is terrible. But Riff was not a terrible choice to add to the show. The way that they decided to add him and the reasons why is what made it suck. But aside from that, season 10 had all the right people, right? We still had Steve White as a writer. We still had some of the people who joined in season 7 and 8 as writers. We still had the entire season being directed by Fred Holmes and oh dang it, I'm skipping out on his name, Jim Rowley. They were the only 2 directors for this season. Even with all of those people still being around, it couldn't make this season or what was going to happen to this series any justice because of all the decision choices that were made behind the scenes that ruined it. What's up, Kaylin?
Question. Was his inclusion? Yeah.
Go ahead. Hashtag we love Rick. Yes, we do.
Was his inclusion like the part of the milkshake thing that we talked about last week? Like one of those things. Okay, they want more dinosaurs. Get another one.
I don't think Milkshake asked for it. I think that was, and I could be wrong. Someone's going to correct me if I am. I think that was just Karen's way of, obviously if we're dialing back the kids, adding another main character to be along with the dinosaurs. So meaning another dinosaur at that point was the choice that she decided to make. If you've listened to or read any comments by Steve White and those kind of things, he said they tossed around different ideas of dinosaurs to join. She settled on Riff and his whole music thing, and that's why we have him. We had opportunities to have other locations for this season outside of just the park. We had opportunities for different dinosaurs that wasn't just another kid dinosaur that blended in with everyone else. But she obviously had the final say in that. I don't know if Milkshake had any play in like, you guys have to add another dinosaur to this, because I'm sure they could have done it just like they did with season 9, just the 3 dinosaurs.
Well, not like them asking for it, just more or less like, okay, they want to see more of the core 3. Let's just add another one to please their.
I think that's
what they're.
I think that was part of it. Yeah, I think that was part of it. On top of her being the new producer of the series. Like we always know, anytime someone new takes over a show, they have to change something. Otherwise, for some reason, it's just not good enough. So I think that was also part of it was, well, we have to add something new to this. So yeah, Jen says Kerron's right on the money. Thank you. Kerron Barnes basically went like, the things that make the show successful? Let's ditch all that and add some conflict. And literally that's what happened. There are some good moments in season 10. And I only say that because we still had some of the people that made the show what it was. But there's so many things that went wrong with this season that makes the entire thing kind of just like a sour moment. You know what I mean? Jen says, for whatever it's worth, Milkshake dropped the show before season 10 premiered. But my theory is that Riff was added to give them another character to play with without the kids. And Fred Holmes seems to agree. Yeah.
I feel like, and I started feeling this way with the last season a little bit. I feel like this is the season where Barney truly forgot what it was. Ditching the kids entirely was such a I think that's what really started to kill it. Because the whole thing, it feels like things are just sort of happening now because they're the Barney thing to happen, as opposed to having a reason for it. The moment you ditch the kids, the whole concept of imagination with Barney as the fundamental is gone. Because now they have him coming to life before the episode starts, just so that he can be there. It's like, okay, sure. But now they don't have the kids in the episode. Yeah. And now the kids are background extras, basically. Yeah. So and at the end of the episode, Barney's by himself. He's singing I Love You, and then he turns into a doll. Why, though? What is the point? He's just to have him do it. I don't understand that. There were times where BJ and Baby Bob disappear, and then he's just by himself. And it's like, okay, what do we do now? Like, I don't know. It's just there's no.
It contradicts the first line in the theme song. It contradicts the theme song itself because it says Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and there's kids singing it. So it's like, why did they do that?
Maybe it's a new world where they think.
I'll go ahead, Kaylin.
Well, maybe it's like a new notion of where, like, they just go to the park and think, wouldn't it be cool if our stuffed animal came to life and had his own friends to play with, so we just do whatever and not have to deal with them
instead of just throwing him away.
It just bothers me so much, to like Hedge's point of like them getting rid of the kids, making them extras, because they did that, right? They took away the integral piece of the show, which were the kids. And this is also the season that, ironically, they cast 40 kids. Like, why do you have double the amount of kids, like 5 times the amount of kids you usually have, for them to all just run around in the park? Like, you could have.
And see, they try to play it off like they're still there. Every episode starts with the.
He's watching the fight.
every
episode jab, man. I'm sorry.
Every episode starts with the kids. Hey, Barney, we're playing hopscotch. Oh, that's great. See you later, and they just leave for like 20 minutes.
But then some episodes they do that, and then they will come back for "I Love You" or "A Friend Like You," and it was like, what the freak is the point?
You just run into it, sing, and then they run away. What are you doing right now?
They aren't they like more involved in the next season?
Yes, they clearly. I think they started to understand that was a terrible choice. Because in season 11, they're not as prominent, but they are again. Like, they're in every episode. Kids have solos. There's key kids that's there the whole time. And then obviously season 12 and 13, they went back to the standard formula. But
like, I'm thinking about the grandpa episode.
Huh?
Like, I'm thinking about the grandpa episode and
any episode in season 11. Sometimes Barney came to life again as a doll, like in the episode itself, not just at the beginning. And things like that, which was nice. It wasn't the entire season, but they did that in some of the episodes. It's funny, when we get to that season, you can tell which episodes he's going to pop up as a doll, because instead of them shouting like Barney, right, and he pops up in the theme song, it's just an instrumental that plays, and that's how you would know that specific episode he was going to actually pop up with the kids. But yeah, this season they abandoned all of that. I was saying this, and this is what Jen said too. The highlights of this season and era, and there are plenty, are because of the veteran crew members working in spite of the new execs. Right? And that is true. That's what I said with this season. There's some good episodes, but that's because you still had Steve White. You still had Michael Anthony Steele. You still had Jim Rowling and Fred Holmes. Like Charlotte Spivey. Instead of Carter Crocker and all these idiots who came from Hollywood thinking they can just write shows because they work in Hollywood, and clearly they couldn't.
Who?
They weren't.
See, the thing
Crocker
is, even though, like, you had all of these like veterans staying on for season 10, it's just like, I feel like the format. The 2-episode format really cost the show its quality, because when I was watching these episodes, I felt like the writing quality had dipped because the writers no longer had that breathing room. It's just like, oh, we've got to introduce the dinosaurs. There's got to be a conflict. There's got to be a couple of songs. The kids have to come in and say hi and then leave. And because Riff was a new character, he was being not prioritized, but that, you know, he was being pushed front and center. So I do feel like even though you had a lot of the older guard, I think the format change really kind of cost the show its quality. Not necessarily at the fault of the people working on it, but definitely because of the format.
Yeah, and I want to at Big Purple 88 because they said at me, and I will. You know what? I think the conflict in Barney was enjoyable. That added something new to the show, and I'm not going to pretend it didn't. You should. Just kidding. No. Conflict in Barney isn't ideal because, like we've heard Jen say many times, and we already understand, it's a preschool show, right? It's for kids who are toddlers. They don't even understand the concept. It works for Barney, like with Barney's World, where they're clearly aging the show up a little bit. But this was the exact same show that it had always been. It wasn't a new show. It was Barney and Friends. And it already had the formula. It already had the target audience. And introducing conflict to those kids does not work in any form. So while we look back at it and go, yeah, this is all right. Or like for me, when it aired, I was in middle school or something. So like I could understand it. Toddler age me, like my daughter is 3 years old and she'll watch it if I turn it on for her, but she definitely prefers classic Barney stuff or like the new Barney stuff. Like she doesn't care much about hit entertainment. She actually throws a fit if it turns on first. She just doesn't want to watch it like most of the time. And I think that is telling to how bad of a decision it was for them to just go ahead, for them to do that when they didn't need to. But also this is at the mercy of people working on the show who had no idea what they were doing and didn't listen to anyone else who had been there to know.
Also, you got to think, like, you're trying to start this new thing with the conflict stuff, but also keep the formula like it is, shove a few songs in there too, all within a 15-minute span.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Whereas in the new show, you know it's 11 minutes wrong. You know it's 11 minutes long.
No, it is. Yeah, 11 minutes wrong. You're absolutely right.
It is 11 minutes wrong.
You know it's 11 minutes wrong.
You know it's 11 minutes wrong.
You know it's 11 minutes long, so you know you have to like make it structurally like sound to tell the story that you're trying to tell. Like the Truth episode. That works because you know the formula by now. Like, okay, he's going to make a situation where you have to discover yourself and be brave and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here is just like, all right, we'll touch on it a little bit. Let's sing a song. Are you still feeling mad? Okay, maybe another song will help. How about now? Good.
Yeah, just
like that's bad storytelling. It's that and then storytelling.
Yeah, but then also like to your point, those two things are night and day because Barney's World is a whole new show, right? There's no expectation for it. They can introduce whatever formula they want to. With Barney and Friends, there was already a formula for 10 plus years before y'all came in and just destroyed it all as if it needed to be changed. And I think that's what makes it suck essentially is that Anthony says the thing that gets me about the kid's absence is like what kind of kid pretends their imaginary friends are hanging out without them, which is exactly true. Like no one does that like ever. Jen says, I believe with the exception of Pistachio and maybe the next one or two, all of the A segments in season 11 have Barney coming to life. I think it's more than that, but when we get to season 11, we'll talk about it. But I think there's more than that. But at any rate, it was better with kids imagining him to life, and that just made more sense.
What was you guys' favorite Barney tune? I can't remember a single one.
None of them.
They all like the problem with it is you have 20 episodes. You know you have 20 episodes, right? Why make 4? I don't know how many they actually make, but why make like 4 tunes? At least make 10 so they can each be repeated twice, or some like give.
So I wasn't tripping. They were playing the same ones like over and over again. Okay,
Yeah.
like because I started to skip them because I was like, oh my god.
Well, and the terrible thing about it is it happens for season 11 and for season 14 too. Like
Are you
the
kidding?
in-between segments, they only have a few of them, and they just keep reusing them over and over again. It's like, dude, what is happening?
Raccoons are here.
The Barney
Yeah,
tunes continue through season 14.
No, I
No,
thought they
so
did
no,
the
no, no,
songs,
no.
the music
So
box.
what happens is, like right here, Hedge says, or not Hedge, Hog says it says something that they outright replace the Barney tunes with music box segments and reruns,
Right.
which they
Oh,
did.
Yeah, they did.
But even the music box segments were the same like 5 songs that they just kept
It
repeating.
was
And then
Happy and You Know It, Wheels on a Bus, Itsy Bitsy Spider,
Itsy Bitsy,
Hickory Dickory
yeah,
Dock, and
wasn't Old
Old
McDonald one
McDonald.
of them?
Old
Yeah.
McDonald. That's it.
Literally
And they just kept
Like,
reusing them. And then for season 14, they had new music videos. That was like 3 of them, and then the joke segments. But they just kept reusing them too. Like it was
oh my god, bro. Yes.
Time for Barney's music box.
everybody's music box. It's just I don't know why they didn't make more of them, and whatever. Anyway, let's move on. So we have 5 people here. This stream and the next stream is different because we're not voting for one specific 30-minute episode. We're voting for 2 15-minute ones. So whichever the 2 highest voted for 15-minute segments are what we're choosing. Since there's so many that we have to get to, I think we should start nominating our choices and talking about them. Again, I said on the beginning of this, any choice that is said is the absolute right choice at this point, in my opinion. But so Malachi, since you're the guest, you get to go to the chopping block first. So give us your first episode and then your reasoning as to why, and then the second one.
Okay, my first episode, I couldn't stand it. Is Rhythm. Why the freak were they like acting?
No, you can
like
say that word.
Baby Bop didn't know these songs.
Which
That was
episode did you say?
Rhythm.
Oh,
That
Rhythm.
was pissing me off. Hey, Mr. Nick, big bop, bop. What? That was
It was your
pissing me
song
Right, you were named after this.
in Barney in concert. You were named from this song.
Bruh, it was that when she didn't know clapping song. I'm like, yo, like, come on, dude. Like we literally watched her like a season ago do the clapping song in the White Void with him. Like, they were killing me, bruh. They were killing me so bad with that episode, and it was just like the fact that that was really my main reasoning. The fact that they made her not know these songs, like act like she didn't have any rhythm at all. That was pissing me off.
That's one thing I forgot to mention earlier. They retcon so many things just for story's sake, which is going to lead to my episode later. But go ahead.
Which is like, and you're right. They could have used a new kid or another kid that didn't know anything about rhythm, that didn't know the clapping song, that didn't know Mr. Knickerbocker. Why would they use
Riff,
her?
he's new. Give it to him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That was terrible. But she's 3-year-old, guys. No.
She's a white woman. She has no rhythm.
But this is why
a white woman dinosaur.
This is why adding some washed up writer from Hollywood did not help.
She didn't think any of that through. She's like, no, the kids are gonna know. No, because that's no, they're gonna know. That was so dumb to me. And I even went back and watched it, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. That episode it turned me off. I was pissed off. The greatest thing about the episode, and you know what? I've seen all the season 10 episodes before, but I never even really watched the episode. The only scene I saw from the episode was in Dynamite Birthday with the little metronome scene, and they were going back and forth. That's the only part of the episode that I saw. But watching it, exactly. That's the only part.
I bet that was Carrie's favorite part too, because he just got to do this and actually be cued to do it instead of just doing it just because.
But yeah, that's my first one. That was terrible. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just Jen says, I hate that there are so many episodes in this season about Baby Bop being incompetent and miserable about it.
Yes, there's
Like,
another one. There's another one after that. I watched it earlier. There's another one after that episode, like episodes later, where they do clapping song again, and she's acting like she didn't know it. I'm like, what the freak is going on? Like, she did this song before. Like, why doesn't she know the song? Like, it was pissing me off so bad.
But that was a testament to also the very obvious fact that when you remove the kids, it makes no sense. Like, you get tired of, like, for me, the reason why I only watched 6 episodes is because it was like watching Family Guy back to back to back. Like, you start to realize how stupid things are. Like, watching Barney and Friends back to back with only 4 dinosaurs and no kids, it's just draining. Like, the characters are bland. The things they're talking about are stupid. They don't make any sense. It's like, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
What is happening?
There was a moment last season. I don't think I mentioned this on the stream, but there was an episode where they did the clapping song, and and then like the very next episode after that, it started with him in the white boy with a boombox. He's like, "Oh, I got a great song for my friends. It's called the clapping game," and he made it seem like they had never done it before.
Yeah.
Just like, are you kidding me?
I'm just gonna play my boombox. Like, dude,
Yeah.
this is the same song we've heard before.
Yeah.
I also want to say this to me feels like the season where he settles into the role, all for the good and all for the worse, because this was what starts the talk singing.
Yes, you did mention that.
He'll sing a bar and then speak the lyrics.
I don't blame Dean at all.
Well, I'm saying like he settles into the role.
He
as
does,
his Barney.
but then the moment he settled into it, everything that provided him the opportunity to make it a character went away. Right? Like, there was already struggle with the body actor, like bringing your words to life. And then you add that with terrible writing, terrible choices to be made. There's nothing you can do as a voice artist when you don't have anything to help you make the character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Malachi, what's the second story? What'd you say, Ed?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off what Kaylin said. The speak singing was very bad in the season. I was actually talking to myself in the car going to the store earlier because I wanted to make this point. Dean has settled into this role so much to where every line he says has to end up here. He starts here and he has to go up here. It's, I'm so happy you're the one, or you are special. You're the only one like you. Like, every single time he says something, it's so flanderized. It'll be like, "Oh, baby Bob, don't worry. I'd love a cupcake." It's so draining. I'm like, stop.
The only song he doesn't do it is the "I Love You" song, and it's because it's
archival footage. It's archival audio, bro. That's the
because it's stock.
He actually sang, like, no, he did like 90% of the songs he sang, he did talk sing, but there are a handful where he did sing the full songs, like the Good Morning song in the very first episode. He sang that all the way through, that's the one thing that I did appreciate about the one and only thing I appreciate about these Hollywood writers coming into the show was they were the sole reason why we got classic songs that we hadn't heard in a while come back. Like, they were digging through, and like a song like Good Morning was never on the series. It was only on an album in like '97. It was cool hearing that song come back. Or in next season, the Bedtime with Barney song, it was cool hearing that come back. That I think when you add new writers, it gives them a chance. You get a chance to get some of those old songs back that the writers that's been around stopped using. That's the only reason them being added was good. There's nothing else good about them but that.
And to your point, they do put them in the score. Like they never used a Smile song or It's a Great Day ever again, but you can hear the instrumentals.
The underscore every other episode you hear It's a Great Day as an underscore.
Joe Phillips also set into his ways.
One thing that really pissed me off was how overused a lot of the songs were. Like, I am so sick of "Colors make me happy.
Everywhere I go.
It's like every other episode they use that song. Just like, fuck. Just
they
another
did
one.
In season 10. I thought they only used it like once.
No, they used it quite a few times.
They only used it, I think, twice in season 10, but they used it a lot in season 9.
They do. Yes, they do. And they use that same music video. That same music
video. Yeah, they use the same music video.
Is this when he really starts leaning into the saxophone?
Oh, they use it 3 times in season 10. But good for you, Emmy, they never sing it again.
Oh,
like in the rest of the seasons, they don't sing the song again.
It's like season 9 and season 10 are kind of just like bleeding into each other.
That's where they literally just like went all the way in. All right, Malachi, what's your second
happy?
My second episode, I legit couldn't choose another one. So I went with Summer. Only because it felt rushed to me. Watching it through, it just like I think that one was about Riff and BJ trying to do all the activities and trying to fit like a whole summer into one day. Just that made it feel really, really rushed to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was legit trying to watch and again trying to find another episode that bothered me. First I was gonna say Counting, but I don't know. Summer
That's another one where it's like she struggles to count, but 2 seasons before
somebody just put a comment up that said it. Somebody said it. That I think that was why I was gonna pick, but I was like, I didn't want to pick the same reasoning twice. So I was like, I'm just gonna say Summer because it felt really rushed to me.
I'll piggyback off of you and I'll just give my other option then. Movement. I hate that episode.
The sack one?
So much, yes. I hate that. Oh my God. Listen, my choices for the things that I don't like, which episodes I don't enjoy the most, comes from which episodes did I skip over when I was like imitating the show. Movement, ever since it premiered, was always one that I would fast forward the VHS that I recorded the episode from like earlier that day, all the way through to get to the next one because I just hate it. The songs suck. I don't care about Barney bouncing in this stupid sack. Like
which makes him seem like a fucking fool.
He just
turns around.
I hate that episode so bad. Listen, Exercise is Good for You is an all right song, but it's not better than the original Exercise song. I hate that they replaced it with that and they just continuously sang that song. I'm tired of Games. I'm sick of that song. Like, and then there was no other song. It was just instrumentals of like Beethoven and like dude, I've always hated that episode. I hate it today. I hated it on September 26th, 2006 when it premiered, and it's largely in part of it deserves all the hate that it gets. I hate that episode. I'm tired of Games. I am. I'm sick of that song. They sing it so much in season 13 when there's only 10 episodes. It's like, dude, stop singing this song.
When we're together, there's nothing better than
the game with a friend. Man, I hate that one. The other one that I dislike, and it saddens me to say it, but it is the Counting episode. It saddens me because it was written by Fred Holmes.
Dang, maybe I should have said that one.
That's why it makes me sad. But also, the people that were there and like until these new people came along are not the reason why this stuff sucks. They did what they could do with what they were being told they had to do. But even for Fred Holmes, you know the continuity of Baby Bop knowing how to count to 10. I don't know if he was the one who directed the A Count to Me Will Go episode, but it's like, come on, dude. I don't know. I hate that episode too. I'm done. I'm done with it all. Go ahead, someone else.
I'll go. So look, I'm just gonna say the two together because they were in the same episode, and I feel like Kaylin and I, at least one of our choices are the same based on what he was saying earlier. My two were Mother Goose and Fairy Tales. Yeah, I got it.
Not the second episode, but I'll get to that.
Not the
one.
second episode. Okay, but I got
really.
Yeah. I just feel based on what he was saying earlier, because there is a lot of retconning in Mother Goose, which is why I selected it as one of my two. And the fact that, it's just like, BJ going, oh, we've never Mother Goose. I can't remember the exact line, but he's going, they're not real. You can't.
Mother Goose Land isn't real.
Yeah. But BJ's just like, oh, it's not real. But he's been in Mother Goose Land before, so why?
You know what, Emmy? That's so crazy because I like the episode so much. I didn't think about Rhyme Time Rhythm at all and paid that in mind. What I love about the episode is that they brought back the Land of Mother Goose song. I love that song.
Did.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sounds good.
I love. That's why it was a plus for me, and I also like the cameo from the season 7 through 8 kids. I like the seeing them. It was cool. I didn't think of that. Like BJ had a Delulu moment like Baby Bob in the other episodes we talked about.
The reason why I didn't have a problem with that episode is because it was a different set. It's the only time it wasn't like just a postcard in the park. Like it was the only time they were somewhere completely different than that stupid park and Caboose. At this point, like he was so old that it's like at least y'all were somewhere else. Like that's the only. I don't like Julie Johnson as Mother Goose. Sorry, it's very weird that she's there as Mother Goose and Baby Bob never speaks. It's so odd. Like,
I don't like what she's wearing.
I don't like the outfit at all. Exactly. Like it's just like. Go ahead, Emmy. Sorry.
No, but the thing is, I was just about to say that Julie Johnson is not my favorite Mother Goose, which feels because I love Julie Johnson.
No, I just don't right.
Is it because we know that she's the voice, or
because
she's not like over 60 years old?
It's because the whole magical, to me, anytime Mother Goose was on Barney, season 1, season 2, Rhyme Time Rhythm, big surprise. It was like this magical character, right, that came to life just like Barney and them. They did not feel like that with this version of Mother Goose. You know what I mean? Like something was missing. Not the because I didn't know that was the voice of Baby Bob back when it was airing. I didn't read credits back then. Like I didn't know that until I was an adult. It just never stuck to me. Like any of those other characters did. It was laziness because you could have went and got someone to play like the classic looking Mother Goose like you've always had. You could have gotten any of the 40 kids y'all cast in this season instead of going back and nitpicking the 7 and 8 kids. But what I don't even understand what that choice was for. Like I just could
have made her actual goose.
They could have, because that's what Mother Goose technically actually was a goose. Like anyway. I want to show this real fast before we move forward.
Oh, go ahead.
Jen sent this over to me, and you guys deserve to watch it.
Oh God.
It's just a quickie.
Exactly.
Shout out to Sonic on Drew. But yeah, the continuity sake of that is anyway. Move along.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like that one. And also I didn't like Fairy Tales because I thought it was, I didn't particularly like this season as a whole. Riff is a fine character, but he drove me absolutely crazy. I like it. Shut up. Yeah, he drove me up the wall. But the reason why I went with the second episode was because Fairy Tales was because Pandora's Box to me is a weird story to adapt to a Barney episode. And it's just like this the episode is called Fairy Tales, but that's a Greek myth, and it's, in my opinion, it's totally inappropriate for a Barney episode. Why that one? I don't understand. I was sitting there thinking, Anyway,
They could use something
I
else.
I love the. It's called fairy tales, but that's a Greek myth. Like,
the message though was cool. Like I get the message was like patience, essentially, I guess. But it was like I agree with you. Like I wonder what made them use that story. I mean, I don't know.
There are other stories I could have adapted though, and
Definitely,
instead of
yeah.
Pandora's box. It's just like
Sure.
as soon as I heard Barney say there was a little girl named Pandora, I was like,
Pandora.
no, they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not gonna do this, and they did. And I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
So
Well,
yeah,
like
that's
I
my.
said, any choice that you guys come up with is the absolutely right one. Because all of them significantly have something wrong with them, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's a particular fairy tale episode next season that's. Oh yeah, that one's going to be fun.
Uh-oh.
You guys will enjoy that one for sure. All right, Head, you want to go next?
This season was very funny. I feel like my episode choices weren't necessarily because the episodes that I chose were awful, even though they technically all were. I think I just chose the ones that were very absurd and funny to me. One that I kept thinking about was Separation, the one with BJ and Riff going on a camping trip without Baby Bob. One, because the body acting, I've said before, the body acting has kind of been on a downward. It's been getting worse. But here's a prop that I can give to Barney's performer that is a feat. I don't think in any of these episodes Barney looked at anyone once in their eyes. This episode was so funny to me. There's a Baby Bop is saying something. No, I'm thinking of the wrong episode. Lord have mercy. What's the one where she's talking about jobs?
Careers.
Careers. Oh wow, that's the wrong episode. You see how they all blend together? I'm picturing it in my head. And they're standing in one spot that they were in the other episode. Anyway, Baby Bop is saying something like, what do you do with a job? And like she's over here. And Barney's like, well, that depends on what kind of job you get. And he was like looking out somewhere else. He's not ever looking at her.
Or how he's talking to her about not having to get a job and grow up. And he's walking into the caboose and she's just standing in the park. She has to run behind him.
Yeah. And Dean's like, well, you can get a job or something. Like he says it.
Never have to get a job. You know, doesn't go to work.
Separation. Okay, going back to that one. I just think it's really funny and absurd that Baby Bop's like, they're gonna be gone for 7 days, and then they go over like almost every day, and it's just Barney and Baby Bop by themselves in the caboose in like the same spot, it's just standing there, and they'll be like, oh man, I can't believe it's been 3 days. And then, oh man, it's really been 5 days. They haven't moved at all. And only on the 5th day, Barney's like, well, you could give them a call on the phone. Like, what have you been doing the past 5 days?
Meanwhile, DJ and Rick are having the grandest time.
Yeah, just like throwing hoops and
making hot dogs and shooting archery.
We finally got rid of her. Thank God.
Having a cookout.
We did having a cookout.
So I guess Separation. I think China was also kind of funny to me because it's BJ having a pen pal from China, which is nice. But then like she comes over and they deck the whole park out to look like where they're from, which if you reverse it, if I went to China and had a pen pal, it's like the equivalent of them bringing out the Statue of Liberty inflatable
and putting plates of fried chicken and watermelon,
White House and
some Kool-Aid. Welcome to America. I just love it because Barney's like, oh look what BJ made for you. Look what BJ made, and then he comes out with this big dragon thing. It's like, woo! It's like, bro. I don't know. I just thought it was.
Oh, we're in edgy China.
So my second choice would have to be a tie between that one and oh my gosh, I actually don't know. There's so many episodes that I just want to talk about, but I don't know if they'd be choices.
That only go with one.
Shoot, not separate. I don't even remember anymore. I'm just gonna look. Separation and China. Those are my two.
China.
But Barney, she's from China.
Oh boy. All right, Kaylin.
So Emmy already stole mine, but I'll say it.
Mother
Goose. Yeah. The retcon is very distracting. Also, I don't mind the kids from 7 and 8 coming back to play those roles. Only two things. Number one, we know them from those roles. So like it would have been cool to be like, hey, you know, Kimmy and dead. Kimmy, what's his name and what's her name?
Nick
are back.
Nick Cammy.
Nick was a terrible kid. What by season 9, you talk about talking, and that's all Nick did in season 9.
You just reminded me.
Her name?
Their names blend together, but it could have been like, hey, they're back to play with us. Also, I get the ordinance of like, okay, if you're taller than BJ or Baby Bot, you're shown the door. They're like not even like close to maybe 4 feet at this point. They could have stayed on the show.
They definitely could have stayed there for one more season.
Yeah.
Just like Jackson did. Jackson was there when they were there, and he was still in the show.
He definitely was. He was little.
He was going back and forth from here to iCarly.
He was, and Drake and Josh.
Yeah. So that was him.
Him, and the twins from this season, the ones that played Sophie.
Right, they were in that Christmas movie.
They were all in the Drake and Josh Christmas movie.
That's wild.
So wait, he was on iCarly too.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that until
now he's an R&B singer.
Is that
which is hilarious? His music is actually pretty good, which is funny.
Is iCarly? He was on the episode when he had the white best friend. Was that him?
That could be anyone, dude. You got to be more specific.
No, the one where with the Fleck and Dave episode, and Sam had joined the one guy, and Carly had joined the other guy, and bro, I don't know.
I couldn't even tell you, man.
Piss me off because I'm about to find out.
I didn't
All right,
know.
Kaylin, what's your other one?
Oh, one more thing. One thing I already mentioned it. Yeah, I already mentioned. The second one is a more technical thing, and we've been leading up to this point since day one of the stream. Neighborhoods.
Okay, listen.
No.
No. Go ahead.
We all know why.
Okay. So
go ahead.
To reiterate, the reason you choose this is because they're clearly in the park, walking around the park, acting as if they're in the neighborhood. My argument for that is this. It was written by Steve White. Steve White, when this new season started, wanted new locations for them to go, and he was told no at every turn. So the only option he had was that. Steve White, is he not the one who also wrote Walk Around the Block with Barney? Is he?
He had to have been, right?
He might have been. I think he was. So he
that's
clearly
what we share, right?
Yeah, because the movie was already out. So by then he was free to write new episodes.
Yeah, he wrote Walk Around the Block with Barney.
Okay.
So he clearly is capable of making that bigger than life. But when you give the dude 15 minutes, you tell him, no, we can't take people anywhere else. We don't have money to do any of these things. There's nothing else that he can do to like show them going through a neighborhood. That's the only reason why I gave that one grace. And ironically, that was also directed by Fred Holmes, who also directed Walk Around the Block with Barney. So like, these are two people who are vets, who were here when shit was good, and now that it sucks, and they can only do what they can do. That's the only reason why I give it grace, because clearly Steve White would have done something more if they would have let him.
Was there a reason why they couldn't go back to Las Colinas? Or was this like, we have our own space now, so we might as well just use it?
I think that's just.
What
I
we
think they
have.
just got lazy and stopped pumping money into that show, to where it was just like, well, we have these because I don't know if I'm correct, but I think I am. This set was the largest set they've ever had, right? Caboose was on a completely different sound stage than the park. I think it was the largest set that they had, possibly. I could be wrong.
Probably because they were connected. Like when you went into the caboose, it was like going into another building.
Okay, so Jen says Los Colinas was larger. It feels like this one was larger just by how it was laid out. But all in all, to me it seems like they weren't trying to put money into it. So clearly the budgets are getting cut. So that would take more money to build a new set. It would take more money to go to another studio to be able to build that set, to film it, to transport, like that. They were just like, no, we'll just do it all here. And then that's where we run into the magic caboose of season 11, where we have fucking postcards of all these different countries in the middle of the park, where we can clearly see everything else around it.
But my thing is also, they go to a book of the neighborhood, and you can like it looks. The cardboard cutouts they stamp on like the caboose and all the other places in the park. It looks like what it is in the book, but when they go there, you can just tell. And then they dress the kids up like 50-year-old men and women.
Yeah. You got to appreciate this episode, if for nothing else, the songs. I've always loved Walk Around the Block, Pumpernickel. So that was one of those episodes. It had nothing but classic songs in it. Library, Looking Around My Neighborhood. And again, it was Steve White.
That's Wonk.
Only being able to do what he can do in this small box, right? I don't know.
My favorite part of that episode was when BJ took a big ass bite out of that wooden drumstick. Ow!
Yeah.
Taking splinters out of his mouth.
It's not even the shape of a breadstick. Like, what kind of breadstick are you
hold it like a pencil?
Yeah.
I also wanted to say, what's the episode? Winter. In the beginning of that episode, they do a POV shot of Barney, and it's so sickening. And they do it for like a good 2 scenes.
For which part?
Winter.
Yeah, but which part are you talking about?
Like the very beginning of the episode. Like he's walking around, everybody's wearing coats, and it's those twins. They're like going to him, and
how it follows them around.
Yeah. I'm like, stop.
We're going slim. Yeah. For everybody who's watching the stream, the voting is open. So click the link. It's at the very top, pinned like it always is on YouTube. We're voting for 2 choices. So the 2 episodes that get the most votes is the ones that are going to be thrown onto the bracket. So go ahead and start voting as we continue on. Yeah, man. This season is just now let's talk about Riff, because we didn't talk a lot about Riff.
We did not at all.
And that shows you 2 things, right? He's not as bad as people make him seem, but he is very insignificant. Like, he blends right in with everyone else, so it's like there's nothing really to talk about. The thing that I don't like about Riff in this early season is, much respect to Adam Brown or any of the body actors and the work that they do. Like, I'm not taking that away from them, but I hate this thing that he always did. How he always patted his stomach. He said, I think on the Purple Roads episode, maybe, I think it was the one when they did all 3 dinosaurs, that he did that, like he wanted to give Riff his own signature kind of thing. I hate it anytime Riff patted his stomach. It was so annoying. I don't know why. It just annoyed me. It annoys me that they put lights in his head that they used 6 times. Like, they use it too much in the very beginning, and then he never uses them again. Like, it's just.
I don't like how you can tell how clearly separated the light pack is and his head is from the rest of his face.
Yeah.
You take the whole thing off.
Yep. Yeah. He kind of looks like I can't think of his name, Kayla. You have to help me. Star-Lord's dad. in Guardians of the Galaxy because he has that thing just on his head.
I'm one of those guys who say the actor's name instead of the character they're playing. So I was about to say Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, there you go. Google it.
He looked like Kurt Russell.
Yeah. What did the show's research say about Riff and the reaction from audiences to him? From what I understood or read, people didn't dislike him. He just, like we've been saying, he just didn't add any significance. Like he just blended in with everyone else. He didn't add anything to the show. Yondu, that's the name. Thank you, Drew.
I think that's the problem with characters that get added to save ratings, especially so late in the game. They'll never.
Because now they got Barney just lighting up. Like he ate Riff.
Characters that get added to save ratings will never contribute anything to any show. And it's very evident when it happens that it's trying to save a sinking ship every single time.
Yes.
Fairly Odd Parents did that multiple times.
They did.
Yeah, they added a dog and that random
dog.
And
Yeah,
that's the reason I think. Like the reason I'm fine with Riff. I like Riff, but I think that was part of the reason. One, he was being added to save ratings, like you said, which is already a terrible choice. Two, his gimmick that you gave him was music, as if he wasn't joining a musical show, where 50% of every episode is music. So he couldn't add anything there. And then they kept introducing him. They introduced him in the movie. They introduced him on the very first episode. Special skills came along. They introduced him to more kids. It's like, dude, we know he's new.
Dude,
like, why do we keep introducing him to people? And really, you don't even have to do that.
It's so weird because you would think the fair joint should have came after season 10 premiered because in the fair, they're like, oh, it's good old cousin Riff. But in the first episode, they were meeting him for the first time. And it was like,
well,
that was weird.
I think also, I could be wrong, but I think that movie came out after the season premiered. I think. Or they were right around the same time.
Right? Or 2007.
Let me see.
So which one is canon?
So the episode came out
Riff's debut is not canon in any iteration.
Well, then it also bothers me because they also then introduced him on the Let's Go tour too.
I was just about to mention that.
Man, like, why do you keep introducing him? Oh no, the movie came out September 5th, so like a few days before season 10 premiered.
So I've seen the clip of Riff's debut at he was in like a hot air balloon or something.
Yeah, that was Let's Make Music.
I don't remember much about it. When that happened, did Baby Bop and BJ already know who he was?
Yeah, they kept going, oh, good old cousin Riff.
Yeah, they were like, good old cousin Riff, good old cousin Riff. But in the first episode, that's what I'm saying. I think that home video came before the season premiere. In the first episode, they were like, a cousin? We have a cousin? What's a cousin? Like, yeah. So it was like,
even the first episode I thought was weird because Barney, I wonder if there was like some sort of mandate internally where Barney's not allowed to be related to anyone because he was introducing Riff like it's not his cousin. He's like, oh, someone's coming over. Who is it? It's your cousin, Riff.
Yeah. Well, and
how do you know?
That's what I hate too. Like, I don't know how it would have worked, but when they were shopping around the idea of a new dinosaur, Steve White offered for a grandmother figure for Barney. Like a new dinosaur that would have been a grandmother to Barney instead of the little dinos, which would have added a very different dynamic in the show, but they turned it down. So it's like, I don't know.
What do you guys think that would have looked like? Would it just be this like another version of the Barney costume, but with somebody else?
Like probably with like a wig, a wig on, and some giant glasses. Like
one of the older costumes.
If you think of Barney in the season 1 episode when he was Michael Finnegan, like maybe something like that.
The wig on the head.
Yeah.
Instead of the
it's like Granny. It would look like the mom of dinosaur.
Yeah.
You remember dinosaurs?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And you know, it's also like to your point in modern times, they have not confirmed or denied whether Billy and Baby Bob are siblings in this new one. Like he calls her baby. Like that sissy stuff is out the window.
Yeah, he just says baby buff. Yeah.
Out the window.
Yeah.
Like Granny Bird for Big Bird.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Big Bird in a wig and glasses.
All right, man. I'll give you guys like 7 more minutes to vote, and then we're gonna put in what our choices are.
Oh, hello, everybody. This is my grandma. Oh my gosh.
This is my grandma, Barney.
If they had the same voice too. Hi, grandma. Oh, hi, Barney.
Yeah, I mean that's what they did with that's what they did with Murray and Dean.
There's a funny.
Everybody.
Have you guys seen the Barney robot chicken parody?
Yeah, when he was rocking in prison, was it?
No. Okay, so the newer one is like a flashback to prehistoric times where everybody looks like him. Everybody has a Barney bag, and it's the day of like the meteor crashing down.
Yeah.
He's like, scientists rediscovered my body and reconstructed me with lizard DNA and allowed me to run a daycare.
Man.
This was such a good season.
Man, it actually makes me feel so sad because this is the last season also where like you had most of the OG people around, right? Like Steve leaves after this season. Most of the old writers left. I think the only people who stayed were the directors and obviously the voice actors and stuff. So it's like, man, now it's just going to get worse. Like, there's nothing to look forward to. It's going to get even worse than where we're at now.
What season was it? Where, and I don't know if this was on TV or if it was just for the YouTube stuff, like the YouTube uploads. What season was it where they started adding that really awful looking border, like the colored border around
14.
That was
13.
13.
It was 13?
13.
13.
Okay.
Oh, wait. You're talking about the whole border? Like
it's like a rainbow border around the 4x3.
Okay.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, that was season 14. Because in season 13,
they started doing widescreen.
2 sides.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they started shooting digitally, and with that they started shooting in widescreen.
But yeah, no, that was season 14 where they just
So when they started repurposing those episodes, they couldn't stretch out the files, so they
Man, I'm so disgusted. I'm just
Jake Paul has arrived.
Who cares?
90 minutes in.
Who cares?
Took 90 minutes for him to show up.
Well,
there's
the main card, so there's so many other fights that happened before him.
Oh God! See, I don't know this stuff because
there's no reason to. It's Jake Paul.
Jake from State Farm versus Mike Tyson.
Oh, are y'all talking about this border?
No.
It was
the one from season 14. The one that goes all the way around it. Here, I'll pull it up.
It's so ugly looking.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right here.
They got lazy with that too in 13. Like instead of making like new intro cards and graphics, they let's use the same one.
Yeah, and then they used that border to squeeze it in, and then at the end they would bring it in, and it would bring it out up for the episode.
Ooh, HD. Like
actually, I don't even think I can. I don't think I can pull one up because there's no one. And thank you, all Barney fans. No one ever uploaded the season 14 episode. Like that's the one season you can't find anybody's YouTube uploads of. Everyone just said screw it.
Probably is no point. And then they took it off of Netflix too. No point.
Are we going to do season 14 or are we just going to skip that one?
We're doing it right now.
That was so quick. No.
Season 14 is just a combination of season 10 and 11. Screw that. Absolutely not.
I'm gonna look right now. I think season 14 might be on Peacock.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, that's crazy.
What's happening right now, bro?
Wait, how you doing that?
It's like a female. Looks like Barney's having war flashbacks.
Oh, that one. It changes colors.
It just did too much.
Yeah.
Wait, wonder if I can show up on screen with them. I don't know. That's gonna take a little bit.
I wonder if I can.
For
now
more
you-
games,
made me think
music,
about what's
stories, and fun, visit me, Barney, on
at PBSkids.org.
PBSkids.com or .com.
It's
I
gonna
wonder
take
if I can. I'm sure it won't let me. No, I can't.
war flashback.
No, it won't let me do it. Dang it. Okay.
War flashbacks.
That's crazy. How does it do that? Oh, because it's just people on the screen. Oh yeah, I guess.
Oh,
And look, it's a jump scare.
I can't see the comments. Kerron, is there any riff hate? We gotta defend them.
oh God!
Wait, what?
I like how
What
it
is it?
recognizes Barney as a person.
What?
So
Wait, wait.
The comments.
No. Most people actually, I don't think many people actually hate Riff as the character. It's just the uselessness, I think, of the character.
Right.
Oh, Kerron, I literally thought you were in a white boy for a second. I didn't know what. I got kind of scared. I was like, yeah. Boom,
Let's go, man.
boom. Rub your hands together.
Whoa!
It would have been perfect if I had like a virtual background of the park to switch into. I'll think about that next time. Kaylin, send.
Hold on, check.
No, there's no send.
No,
I know you're watching it.
I'm gonna have an issue sending this. Hold on.
No, you're not.
Let me tell you something in the chat first. Damn.
Okay, so all right, I'm closing it off. Here we go. I had the 2 episodes. And I will present my screen. Hold on 1 second.
Sheesh.
Am I allowed to host the live stream, Kaylin?
No.
Hedge's face is always funny. All right. Here we go. Share screen. This is our bracket. You guys are used to it.
Oh man, it's all gone. I'm gonna do it all over again.
Oh, chat there. Okay. Okay, still. I'm gonna give you my. I'll tell you after this. Here we go. These are our 2 episodes. Ready? We need the drum roll effect. Drum roll. Separation in China.
Okay.
Really?
Separation in China. And that's hilarious given Jen's joke earlier and Trump.
We're gonna separate everything going on with China.
We're gonna
We're
put
gonna bring all
tariffs,
those jobs over here to America.
tariffs, everyone. Oh man, that's life's a comedy. You can't make things like that up. That's hilarious.
That up.
I just love all the other episode names. It's just like Hop to It, Rock with Barney, and then you just get to the right side, it's just China. It's like, what?
Yeah, all the creativity of titles are just gone.
Just
And
a
at least
country.
they kept that trend going with Barney's World. One ripe tomato.
One ripe tomato.
The floor is grape jelly.
The floor is grape jelly.
Sam made a great point in one of her videos covering it. I think the first line he speaks in like the first couple episodes is not Jonathan Langdon. was like some random guy.
It didn't sound like it. Hearing him in the other episodes and then hearing him in the very first one when he introduces the episode title, it doesn't.
What she's talking
like
about, yeah, with pickup lines, the director is basically telling you how to sound.
Pickup lines in Barney.
Well, that's what she suggested. So, like in the grape jelly episode, and maybe even the cleanup episode, it sounds like an entirely different person. Like for the first line, and then onwards, it is him. It sounds like it. I don't know that to be true, but what she's talking about is the director will basically tell you what you should sound like in a recording, so you could like copy that. But I guess they forgot to replace it.
Or they were just lazy and was like, no, we already have that part. Just let's do the other stuff. Anyway, here we are. This has been fun.
What happened?
I'm just sick of this season. Someone said that they feel like BJ Snack Attack should have been a winner, but I don't agree.
I don't even remember that episode.
Why do you say that, Purple Voice 15?
It was the one when he was eating junk. They were playing and he had a stomach ache, and then he was like, I just ate. He was like, I had a couple of chocolate bars, a lollipop or two, or this or that. Like, and they was talking about healthy foods, typical episode. We've probably seen it. We've seen it in the Treehouse era. We've seen it. And,
yep.
We've seen that stuff before, so it's nothing crazy. I did like that they brought the Yum Yum song back in that episode, though. That's a good song.
All right, guys. Well, I want to watch Jake Paul get knocked out, which is a funny thing to say while we're talking about a show that's all about love and kindness. But, Jen says BJ Snack Attack is literally about BJ having a fever dream. Hilarious. Especially in season 14 when paired with Pistachio.
Wow, they are paired together? That's crazy.
They are, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
What's that episode in the next season? Rachel, when she opens that.
Go ahead, Kaylin.
When she opens the box that has the music box, and she puts those packing peanuts everywhere.
Oh,
but in her dream, like they're everywhere, everywhere.
And then there's puppets talking.
Yeah.
I'm blocking people also in the chat because you guys are kind of getting annoying. If you're constantly repeating the same thing to someone who's telling you to stop repeating it to you, I'm going to delete it. If you're someone who's constantly arguing things because you don't clearly get what's happening, I'm banning you too because it's annoying. It's a bunch of useless comments that don't need to be there. So be mindful about what you're commenting, or else I'll just block you. Sorry, go ahead. Sick of it. Are you also in the white void hedge?
I'm trying to see if I can get them to show up. My friends.
Your friends.
It's not working. Oh, there we go. Hold on. There's my boy. Come on, come back, please. Oh, he's trying. Never mind.
You're just stuck in the void.
You're not imagining him hard enough. Or them.
Maybe if you had a boombox.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like, hello,
my friends. Oh hey, what's going on?
They're stuck in they're stuck in between dimensions, like in Sonic Frontiers, whatever that game is.
You gotta save them. Look, guys, I'm in the void. You know what they say? Digital footprint. Like your employers will at some point find your stuff, and it's just me, just doing this. Whoa! Hello, everyone. Oh, what does it do?
He got so bad with this starting this season. Like he would literally walk around like this.
Yes, he would.
He would
walk backwards and like.
He was.
He did the spin on one leg.
And we'll close it with that.
But hey, we got Number Limbo back, so that counts for something.
We did.
We love to do the number limbo.
All right, guys. Well, I want to end this because I do want to see the fight and everything. There's nothing else more to talk about here. Tune in 2 weeks for season 11, where things get even worse. Very much worse. Until then, new episodes of Generation Barney, I think, air every Tuesday. So
That's right.
Keep an eye out for those as well. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you to Malachi for joining us for this stream as well.
Thanks for having me.
And we will catch you all next time. Take care.